If you're looking to build out a podcast studio with up to 4 people, maybe in a small area, room, or even garage, I'm excited to break down this setup that Ruslan has. We're gonna talk about the mics, the cameras, and how he has them mounted on things like this. What are we even talking about, bro? Let's break it down right now.
You gotta just press record.
Hey, what's up? It's Omar with Think Media. Now we'll be sure to post links down to everything down in the description below. And this is a part of a 3-part series where we actually break down how Ruslan grew his YouTube channels to over 500,000 subs. And then we got his battle station right over there. But we're gonna be breaking down his video podcast setup. Let's start with the mics and the setup you got going on.
Well, of course, gotta keep it classic. The Shure 7Bs. I love these microphones, they look great. And we have these extremely robust arms from Ultimate, OC White Company. So same ones that Joe Rogan uses, and I love these. I mean, you could just relax, you could pull up. So yeah, audio going into the Rodecaster Pro 2.
Super cool, low profile, and like you said, you got the Elgato ones like over here and over there, but all of which are low profile. So when it comes to audio, you have sound panels all around this room. Can you break that down?
The sound panels are from JIK Acoustics, beautifully custom built sound panels. They're a bit on the pricier side, but man, I think they're worth every single penny. We have a few of the ones that you see hanging on the walls. We have the double bass straps in every single corner, and they look good, they sound good.
And you usually are wearing in-ears.
So we have custom built in-ears. The in-ears serve as 2 purposes. One, I could really stay engaged with the conversation. You want to be able to hear what the other person is saying. And sometimes in the room, there's a lot of things going on. The AC is on, the noises everywhere. And I just like to be locked in. They're almost noise canceling. So I just hear the person. And then they also allow me to serve to hear the volume and the levels and make sure the levels are awesome. And so sometimes the person might be speaking more quiet than I am. I might pull it down if it's in the middle of the podcast, or I might be like, hey, Chris, turn up channel 2. They serve a couple of different purposes.
What's really cool about this setup, and you can even see it, is all the lighting going on. Like Ruslan looks really good because he has a good lighting in his face, but then he also looks good because of the lights going on the back. But let's talk about some of the key light, meaning the light that you have hitting the faces of your subjects. What do you have going on and how do you mount them?
These are on these little suspension thingies that go up, and they are Amaran 60D. We have 3 of them, and then Zach built out this like suspension arm that whenever we need to pull these down to get the light as close as possible, we just boom, pull it down here.
No stands.
Pull it down here, no stands, and then just slightly adjust it. They look great. It's close to the face. The closer the light that can be to you, the better. And so we try to get them as close as we can while still having a casual conversation as if we're hanging out in the living room and just having a chat.
Yeah, and I love you not having the stands, just makes it a lot more approachable too.
The whole point of having a good podcast is that it's kind of this experience where you're a part and immersed in people's conversation. The less the environment can feel like a big production, the better the conversation is gonna feel, and the better it's gonna sound to the listener, because it just sounds like 2 people, one of them you may be interested in, maybe interested in both of them, having a conversation and you're in the room with them.
So let's break down some of the hair lights you got going on and the accent lights in the background of this shot in particular.
Yeah, so the hair lights, same is the newer lights. These are full color. We can control them. And so sometimes we just keep them white, keep them nice and crispy. Other times, Zach may want them to look the same color as the background. And so those are the newer hair lights. And then we have these lights on stands that I originally had the Quasar lights, which I really like the Quasar lights, but I couldn't get a stand system to work. And so these came right on stands. There's no flicker with them. They look great on camera, and they just add like a nice, even aesthetic to the room that creates some symmetry for the shots.
And then what's this red light hitting the wall over here?
So oddly enough, these lights that are hitting the wall are old touring lights that I got when I used to tour and perform, and we throw them up and just on a backdrop, we bring our own lights, bring our own sound system, and I just kind of kept some of that equipment around, just like threw them up, and was like, they look great, and they can turn on easier with my little switches.
Now I'm excited to actually get into cameras and how you actually place them more than anything, but let's break down some of the cameras that you were using.
Yeah, I'm a Canon guy. I love the color science on all the cameras. All the cameras are either the Canon R7 or the Canon R10s. They recently came out. Sean Cannell actually is the one that told me to get these. They're 4K, coming out at 30 frames, so I can future-proof my setup. And all of the cameras are running into the A10 video switcher, the extreme ISO, and all of the cameras have Sigma art lenses. We have the slider ones.
Insane, like mounted on the wall, a slider.
Yep, and this is the Konova sliders. These are not very expensive, and they look good on camera. And so yeah, everything is being piped in through the walls, back to the video switcher.
And can we break down this mounting setup?
So this is a Canon R10, and we have this on a Sigma 50 to 100 1.8. I love this lens. I love the flexibility of this lens. And this is for our main guest shot that shoots across the room.
Dude, I just love it. Again, the amount of tripods needed to mount these cameras and sliders, it'd be insane. Or what's this camera that you got right over here?
Okay, so this is another Canon R10 that gets shot across to this shot on the couch. And so basically this allows us to get that third additional guest in a shot. We have another one piped up on the wall that's also an R10, and that shoots across to this shot.
That's wild. And because you're switching to each shot, there's not really a shot with everybody in it. You're not seeing any of these cameras in the shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't see the cameras in a shot. And so over here, we have another Canon R10. This is on another slider. It's another Sigma 50 art lens. And that is, again, like more of like my B shot. If I want to just kind of pontificate and rant, I usually cut to this slider. It creates some motion for the shot and it looks great. And so this is my main camera for my main podcast shot. This is a Canon R7. It currently has a Sigma Art 85, which I think goes down to 1.2 f-stop.
And then you got HDMIs running all of them into the ATEM Extreme. And then you actually use your switcher because you switch in real time.
Yep, so because the ATEM is all the way across the room with the Rodecaster Pro 2, I use the BitFocus Companion app, which allows me to pipe my ATEM Extreme ISO to be controlled by my Stream Deck. It's a couple of steps, but man, is it worth it to be able to control everything on my Stream Deck, including me cutting cameras right in the middle of the streams.
This video is brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard is our go-to platform for streaming to YouTube and Facebook with an incredibly easy to use interface for built-in branding, transitions, text lower thirds, and seamlessly bringing on guests. It really is one of the best options when it comes to live streaming. And what's so cool is they've implemented a brand new feature called local recording. Take control of your audio and video with local recordings by separating out your audio and video from your guests. This feature gives you the control over your content for later use, making it perfect for podcasts and video creators. Just go to streamwiththink.com to get started now.
So that kind of breaks up the gear side of things, but I always like to touch on some of the design side of things. And I think it's really key about the furniture he used, like the fabric he went with, little intentional rugs and stuff. So let's just talk a little bit about that stuff. Where did you get some of your furniture at?
Man, the furniture is actually from Amazon. Every single couch here is the Lindsay modular couch. And if you come around here, they double down and serve as storage. So we have a bunch of our stands, our light stands, all kinds of stuff. And so when we need to get in, we can set them up, and then we can also combine them if we want to combine them. And again, we're just trying to create a living room casual feel for whenever someone comes in. It doesn't feel super intrusive like this intense interview. It's more casual, more laid back.
Love it. And then you got a lot of fake plants.
A lot of fake plants, all of them available on Amazon. They look realer on camera than they do in person, but I think they just give out a nice warm home feel.
Yeah, they definitely liven up the shot. I love it. We were shooting and you have a clock.
We have a timer and we have a clock. And when I'm live streaming, when I'm creating content, I could easily lose myself in the content. So I like a nice big clock and I like a timer. Keeps me sharper and it gets me in and out faster.
Love it. You got screens all over the place.
My OG 75-inch TV. This just allows me to keep an eye on the chat when I'm reacting to stuff. I'm pulling it up from a Mac Mini and I got a little small setup, but I'm able to see it bigger on the screen. And then we have a little 45-inch TV for our guests so that they can also see the chat, or if I'm pulling up a reaction video, they can look right on the screen. Everything's right in front of them. And so the confidence monitor is important, especially when you're live streaming and you're trying to interact with the chat.
All right, so that breaks down his podcast setup. You'd like to check out either the breakdown he uses his for live streaming, his like battle station, or we actually sat down and shot a conversation where we talked through kind of his thought process on how he grew to over 500,000 subscribers. You can click or tap the screen. Can't wait to see you in a future video. Peace.